cranking. Stop worrying so much. I gotta head into the office. You start whistling if you see any angry politicians coming our way.
Why? Is something wrong? Piper?
Hey, pal.
3 papers to newcomers. If the Institute grabs you in the night, at least we warned you.
The Institute?
You ain't heard of the Institute, mister? They snatch people up in the night and no one hears from them again. It's all in the paper. Better read up before they grab you, too.
Who's believing?
Who's gone missing?
Drifters, residents, stadium seat snobs. Seems every year or so. Someone's gone. And we all know why. So you better be careful, newcomer. The Institute is out there. And they'll grab you, too. Like I said, it's all in the paper.
I believe you.
I believe you. Thanks.
You are a real lost lamb in the wolf's den, mister. So what are you doing in Diamond City anyway?
I'm looking for
Came
someone.
here looking for someone.
Let me guess. That someone's gone missing, right? That's what I'm telling you. So who is it?
My son and the one true
I'm
king.
looking for Sean. He's my son. Less than a year old.
You have a son, mister? Man, you're old.
Yeah.
I'm bad luck.
I'm
No
real
one tries
old.
to find missing people in Diamond City. Missing people means the Institute is involved. And no one's going to want to get the Institute's attention.
Someone can help. Right?
You're a smart kid. Isn't there someone in town who isn't afraid of this Institute?
Well, there is the detective, Mr. Nick Valentine. He's not afraid of anything. If anyone's gonna help you, it's him.
Thank you.
Thanks. You were a big help.
Remember, the Institute's out there, newcomer. Watch your back.
Kind of makes me think of John Connor. And my mom was always saying, let's read the newspaper. The Institute! Last heard in Fallout 3, if I remember correctly. Because there was a quest, if I recall, where you have to track down a synthetic. Yeah, because they sent some guy to Rivet City. He's like, I'm looking for my runaway synthetic. Pretty long newspaper, but I'll try my best. October 2287, The Synthetic Truth by Piperite. Noodles. We all eat them. We all love them. And Diamond City's Power Noodles has supplied this sustenance for the past 15 years. From the stilted mechanical cascadence of Takahashi's programmed Japanese to the fragrant stream that wafts from each bowl to the scalding tang of each delicious mouthful. The ordering and eating of noodles is but one of many shared human experiences. Or is it? I was struck by this very question as I sat at the counter at Power Noodles last Wednesday night, just after 5 p.m., enjoying a dinner I had so many times before. That's when I noticed our very own Mayor McDonald sidle up to a stool and engage in the very same ritual. Right hand extending, mouth opening, teeth chewing. Yes, eating noodles, the shared experience of almost every Diamond City resident. So it must have also seemed to the residents of Diamond City nearly 60 years ago, on an uncharacteristically warm May evening in 2229, as they sat around this very same counter. But that was before the days of Takahashi and his noodles, when the bar served not noodles, but ice-cold Nuka-Colas, frothy beers, and stiff shots of whiskey. The barman's name was Henry, and that night he facilitated the shared human experiences of drinking, smoking, talking, and laughing. That is, until tragedy struck. There aren't many among us who are even old enough to remember that evening, although some of the city's ghoul residents certainly could have, had they not been forcibly removed thanks to Mayor McDonald's anti-ghoul decree of 2282. But there is one person among us who does remember distinctly the events of the evening, respected matriarch Eustace Hawthorne, who recounted her story in a Public Occurrences exclusive interview. Oh, I was there, all right, sitting right at the bar, sure as you're sitting right in front of me now. 22 years old or so and just looking to have a good time. I was safe behind the wall. We all were, so what was the harm? And let me tell you that Mr. Carter made it easy. He came into town earlier that day, said he was from out west somewhere. It didn't really matter. What did matter was his smile and his laugh and the way he'd make everyone feel at ease. That night at the bar, we all just sort of crowded around him. Everyone wanted to exchange a word or hear about the state of the Commonwealth, and Mr. Carter, he was all too happy to oblige. It was just so wonderful, until it wasn't. Eustace continued her account of that evening, and the moment when things turned sinister and the truth about Mr. Carter was revealed. We'd been drinking and carrying on must have been 3 hours. Mr. Carter had 4 or 5 drinks in that time. He seemed a bit drunk, I guess, like the rest of us. Then something just sort of happened. He was smiling, but the smile sort of went from his face all in an instant. Oh, my throat is killing me right now. And then his cheeks started twitching kind of funny, and I remember watching him clear as it happened just yesterday. He reached inside his coat, took out a revolver, and then bam! He shot Henry, the barman, right in the head. Didn't hesitate, didn't show any emotion. Mr. Carter killed Henry as casually as if he were paying him for a drink. But his cheek never did stop twitching. Let me tell you, all hell broke loose after that. With Eustace, what Eustace is describing is the infamous event known as the Broken Mask, when the people of the Commonwealth learned for the first time that the Institute, the shadowy scientific organization responsible for the creation of combat androids, had actually succeeded in creating a model so advanced it could effortlessly infiltrate human society. Unbeknownst to the people of Diamond City, the Institute had somehow evolved their androids into true synthetic humans, synths. Here we go again. After he shot Henry, that Mr. Carter shot 3 or 4 other people, too. Like I said, all hell broke loose. The guards came running, they opened fire, and Mr. Carter, he kept shooting and throwing people around left and right. Finally, those guards put him down. Seemed like they had killed a man who had flipped his lid, gone crazy, and he lay there like a dead crazy man, sure enough. God, it was horrible. But then we saw the plastic and the metal. This was one of them early synths, you see, and we realized it wasn't a man at all. It was then we all knew the Institute wasn't just out there. The Institute was everywhere now, among us. It was never determined precisely why the synth known as Mr. Carter went on his killing spree. Some suggested he had somehow been remotely controlled by the Institute, who wanted to test its combat effectiveness. Still, others felt he had simply malfunctioned, a hypothesis supported by the twitching cheek, and was never meant to kill anyone. But at that time, the why hardly seemed important. What mattered was that the humans of the Commonwealth had been truly infiltrated by an organization whose intentions and motives were, and still are, a complete mystery, using a model of synth even less advanced than the ones the Institute has in service today. Which brings us to Noodles. Specifically the noodles consumed by Mayor McDonough last Wednesday night, in the same spot that Mr. Carter the synth went haywire, and mercilessly killed several people. After spending hours sharing an experience the people of Diamond City assumed was reserved for the members of the human race. They were wrong. Are we? My Piper rides. Oh boy. Alright. Gonna head on inside here in Diamond City Market. See, this is home. This is home, Billy. We head on over here.
Can't believe you eat that food. Only one thing worth buying in the dugout inn, and that's the booze.
Yeah, it's gotta eat. What can I say?
A real Diamond City boy eats at the noodle stand. Today's Halloween, but do we get treats? No. It's all tricks, all day.
What's this? Oh, that's another copy of the newspaper. I believe over here is first. Yeah, over here is first.
I hear there's a bar in the old theater district that's Parada's own combat zone. I stayed clear if I was you.
Yeah. This is first. Coming on over here is coming up on second base. Hey, child.
Oh, wow, you're tall.
Yes. Second base. Coming on over here. Here's look, there's
Does anyone fight back? Institute has to have enemies, right?
Nick Valentine.
That's a fairy tale, man. They don't exist.
Nah, I heard from my cousin. He knows a guy that works for him. They got a code phrase and everything. Follow the Freedom Trail.
The hell is that supposed to mean? You're full of it. That kind of talk is gonna get you snatched up by the Sentinel. Newcomer, huh? Talk to Abbott at the wall if you want a history lesson.
You read the paper?
Here's third base.
Hiding among us.
Third. And then coming all the way on back around.
Anyone is one of those things. It's that secretary of his, her and her perfect hair.
Here's one.
Mayor's secretary. Come on, Ma. I cut her hair myself, and I know human hair.
That's just